Hello everyone, welcome back to Girls on Deck. It feels like it's been so long since I've gotten to sit alongside Kayla Burge as co-host for this wonderful show, but we are back and better than ever. We've got a fun show for you today. First, we'll be talking MLB and our opinions of the most underrated and overrated teams as we head into the season. Then we'll talk about the NBA, how the top teams are doing, and who's in the running for the league's MVP. My name is Hannah Jo Groves, my co-host is Kayla Burge, and Girls on Deck starts now.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back. Okay, always locked in, now I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta ask.
Welcome back. Hannah Jo and I thought we'd start off the show talking MLB since, again, we are so happy that there is a season after all. We're joined by our resident Yankees fan, Alex Funderburke, to talk about some underrated teams, some overrated teams, and which pitchers and hitters are going to stand out going into this season. Alex, how are you feeling today, and how are you feeling to be a Yankees fan today?
I'm a depressed Yankee fan. I think at best we are a fourth-place team. It's going to be a rough season. I'm just going to power through it and hope Volpe, the prospect that they want at shortstop in 2 years, lives up to the hype.
Okay, great. Well, let's get started on the positive side of things, Alex. Who might come out and surprise us this season, or as we're calling it, the underrated teams? Kayla, I want to start with you. Who did you pick as your underrated team?
I picked the Philadelphia Phillies. And there's a lot of ifs around this underrated because they have a lot of defense struggles and they have some pitching vacancies that they need to fill. But if it works, they have the offensive power. They have Harper, they have Veerling, they have the people to do it. It's a matter of if they can, and if they can, I think they can go for that number 2 or 3 spot in their division.
Right. Well, they finally have Eflin also back in their pitching rotation after a knee surgery. I mean, they came back they had a winning season in the first time in, is it like how long?
Forever.
How many years? Yeah,
Forever.
in a very long time. So
Forever.
they're definitely on the come up. What do you think about this Phillies team, Alex?
They're going to hit. They're going to hit a lot. They got Schwarber. They got Castellanos. They are going to hit. Can they play defense, though? They are on pace to field the worst defensive rated team in MLB history. They're terrible defensively.
So what can they do to improve?
Practice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Practice
better.
defense. They're going to score, but they might also give up a ton of runs. If they can hit consistently, I think they'll be fine. I could see them coming in second place because of Kayla's overrated team, which we'll get into a little bit later. But yeah, I could see the Phillies coming in like second place or third.
Okay.
Yeah, I totally agree. And Hannah Jo, I want to hear your underrated team.
My underrated team is the Texas Rangers. They spent, I think it was $500 million.
They spent a lot of money.
And I think it was well worth it. They've been super dominant in spring training. They have people like Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, a new offensive coordinator, a new hitting coach. They lead all MLB teams in runs scored in spring training, and that's 81, and they got second for home runs, which is 21. I don't think people really see them coming, but I think they are going to be a force to be reckoned with. What do you think, Alex?
You know why I like that pick, Hannah?
Why?
Because they have this dude in the minors right now. They drafted him. Jack Leiter. One of the best pitchers I've ever seen play college baseball. He might not come up this season, but if he does, he's going to add a lot of firepower to that pitching rotation in Texas. Like you said, they spent $500 million this offseason. Marcus Semien almost won MVP last year. He was in that discussion. Corey Seager, he's been great for Kayla's Dodgers.
Yep.
This team's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Even if they aren't good. They should be good. But Texas supposed to be good and not play well sometimes. So.
Do you think, and Hannah Jo, do you think it's possible they take out the Astros in their division?
I hope so. I'm so done seeing the Astros do well. I think it's time for another Texas team to step up. What do you think, Alex?
Please. and literally anybody. It's not going to be the A's. The A's are selling everybody they have. if it's not the Rangers, look out for the Angels.
Do you think the A's are going for that 2002 Moneyball team again or something? I don't
No,
know.
I don't even think they're trying to win. Like,
Oh.
I think they want to be bad, save money, get draft picks. This is beyond Moneyball. Like, there's no reason for them to trade Olsen, Chapman. They're looking like they're going to trade Manaea and what's the other pitcher that's left? Manaea and I can't remember his name, but I want him on the Yankees. So
Oh, well,
please,
there you
Yankees.
go.
No, the A's are not trying to compete, and it's very sad. If you buy MLB The Show, you have spent more money this offseason than the Oakland Athletics.
If you buy a $2 hot dog from the UCF games,
You have spent more money than the
than
Oakland Athletics.
this
Yeah.
season. Alex, I want to hear your underrated team.
My underrated team, the Miami Marlins. This pitching rotation is insane. We are going to look back at this pitching rotation like we do the Tigers rotation that had 4 Cy Young winners: Verlander, Scherzer, Porcello. Like that, we are going to look at this rotation in 10 years like we look at that rotation. Their biggest question mark is if they can hit. If they can hit, they just got Jorge Soler. I think that's a great signing. If they can hit and help that pitching rotation and don't do what the Mets have done to DeGrom for the last 5 years,
Right.
they're going to be really, really good.
Yeah, I agree with you. They seem like they're really developing their younger players, and so I feel like it's safe to say that they could be a playoff contender this season, but not necessarily maybe a series contender.
It's so hard because I think they're in the best division in baseball. I mean,
Right.
you got the Braves. The Mets are looking better.
And they're up against those Phillies if
and
the
the
Phillies end up
Phillies.
being good.
Look, they're going to beat up on the Nationals outside of Juan Soto.
I was going to say that the Nationals are, I think we can all agree, at the bottom
Yes.
in this conversation.
Yeah.
But 1 through 4, you could give them to me in any order, and I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense.
Well, I feel like the Braves kind of, unless something bad happens, they pretty much have that number 1 spot. So
I'm cool with that. Yeah, we'll go 2 through 4 then.
yeah, no, the Marlins, I really like the team that they have now. I wonder what's going to happen after Jeter, kind of the moves they're going to make. I really like the Jorge Soler signing. I agree, they need that hitting power. So I think if they can kind of get that all in check, they can go farther. But this is a team that you've been watching for years, and they had the best outfield at one point and still did not even do anything with that. So that's my only concern with them, is that they've had the tools before and not used them. So that, I think, could be a fault for them.
Absolutely. I completely agree. It's going to be very interesting to see because the Marlins are kind of the team that always has the young talent and they just never do anything with it outside of 1997 and 2003.
Right.
But hopefully they get it around because they have a fun core. I mean, Jazz Chisholm is one of my favorite players in baseball.
He's just exciting to watch. He's an exciting personality, which I think is what the Marlins been lacking, is that personality. And
Honestly.
I really think he brings that to the team for sure.
He has fun. And in baseball, people don't like that for some reason.
Right.
So, like,
They want the boring players.
they want the boring white dude. No, here's this black bohemian who has teal hair.
Nice.
Embrace it.
Yeah.
Miami,
we need
too.
something to watch. Yeah, exactly.
Have something fun. Now, let's move on to more of the hot take portion. The teams that we think might disappoint some loyal fans. The overrated team. Alex, let's start with you this time. Who do you think people are expecting a lot from that might fall short?
How do I say this without sounding like a hater?
You could just sound like a hater.
Yeah, it's fine.
I mean, yes, I do hate this team, but I'm not saying this because I hate
because
this
you're
team.
a Yankees fan.
Right.
Yeah, it's Boston. I get it. You got Trevor Story. You have Xander Bogaerts. You have Rafael Devers. But Chris Sale fractured his rib. You're not going to have your best pitcher for quite a bit to start the season. And this division is so tough. Like, the Yankees, they're a good team on paper, but in comparison to the rest of their division, they're terrible. That's how good this division is. Like, the Blue Jays can go win the World Series this year. The Rays, they're always good. I don't know how. They don't have anybody on that team outside of Wander Franco. The Yankees, they have a good roster. The pieces are there. Will they win? Probably not, but it's there. So without Chris Sale to start the season, they might be digging themselves a hole that I don't think they'll be able to climb out of.
Yeah, it pains me to say this, but I would dare put the Yankees over the Red Sox for sure.
I wouldn't. Not yet. Not yet.
Wow, a lot of faith in your team there.
I was going to say,
Alex.
we're having
Glad
like
to
little
see that.
opposite issues here, but
We're bad. Like, I'm sorry. You had a chance to go get Carlos Correa, Trevor Story, Javi Baez, and you got
the one time
Isaiah
you
Connor
want them to
Falefa?
spend money.
I get it. IKF is a great defensive shortstop.
Well, so
but
is this the
come
time
on.
that I should mention that my overrated team is definitely the Yankees?
I'm with
for
it.
Sure. I'm sorry. I mean, if you watch our HGFN shows, you see our bad takes commercial, and I believe that there is a part of it where you're really depending on Garrett Cole to bring you to the World Series, and he fell short for you, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
He sucked.
And you tried to argue with me about Garrett
That's
Cole,
right.
Alex.
I seem to remember that.
I did. I believed in our ace, and he let me down.
So what's that saying? Fool me one time?
No, but look, I'm going to give Garrett Cole this. Once he got off the sticky stuff, his rotations per minute went down, right? Yesterday was his first start of spring training. He gave up 2 home runs, but his rotation, his RPMs were back up to where they were before they banned the sticky stuff. So I don't know if he's back on the sticky stuff and he's just hiding it better, but if he's off of it and his RPMs are back up, I expect another dominant Garrett Cole season. He was also hurt last year. He's playing on a bum hamstring. I'm going to cut him some slack. But he does have to be better if the Yankees want to be good.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. We're going to have to move on, but my overrated team is the Mets. I don't even know if I need to explain
That
it.
was my pick before Kayla said
Guys,
it. So.
we both had...
have faith in the Mets. Come on.
No.
That's going to be on the bad take commercial. Never have faith
you
in
guys
the
are
New
going to
York
be on the
Mets.
bad takes commercial.
The Mets have had DeGrom for forever, and I've done nothing with it. Now Scherzer's there. They're still going to do nothing with it.
No, Scherzer's good.
They're still going to do nothing with him.
It's my favorite saying. The Mets are going to Met. Just give it time.
It's all about
Just let it happen.
Okay, let's talk about individual players now. I know it's pretty difficult to choose out of the entire league, but Kayla, who do you have as your best pitcher since you hate Max Scherzer?
I don't hate Max Scherzer. I think he's...
She's salty that he left the Dodgers.
I am a little salty about it, but I respect the guy. But I do want to talk about another Dodger pitcher, Walker Buehler.
Walker Buehler.
I think this is his
Tight
season.
pants.
What?
Tight pants.
I think this is his season. He's announced the opening day pitcher for the Dodgers, kind of taking over that ace role as Kershaw's in his last couple season, who knows. I think I think he's going to do phenomenal. He had a great 2021 season. I only think he's going to get better.
Yeah, he's the opening day starter, and I really love his respect for Clayton Kershaw. I feel like he still sees himself as someone who's learning from him and who respects him a lot, which I think actually puts him in a better position. When pitchers get cocky, that's when they end up like Garrett Cole. So we don't want to see that.
I don't think Garrett Cole ever got cocky, but okay.
He was on the Astros, so I mean, I feel like that was just like
He wasn't on the cheating Astros team, though. So I'm going to cut him some slack.
The math. I don't know if it's adding up. Anyway, Alex, what do you think about Walker Buehler?
Walker Buehler has the potential to be the best pitcher in the league. We've just not seen it out of him yet. This could be a very big season. He has to be the ace now. Kershaw is getting up there in age. Love Clayton Kershaw. Sorry, Johnny, but he's old.
Yeah, he is old.
Yeah. If there is a season for Walker Buehler to cement his name as one of the best pitchers in the league, and we actually see it, because it's always been said, but it seems like he's either hurt or slumping a little bit, this is the season.
All right, well, rapid round. Who is your best pitcher? We don't have a lot of time to explain it, but Alex, go first.
Not because he's the best pitcher, but I think people sleep on his ability. Shohei Ohtani. I think he's going to show people he can do it consistently this year.
I love how he trusts himself, he trusts his own process, and then his coaches have learned to trust him too. He hit a home run on Saturday. Didn't pitch.
They have a new rule because of him.
Yes.
Yeah, he gets to start and still be the DH, which I love.
Yes. Hannah Jo?
Yeah, my pitcher is Max Scherzer. I know you guys were haters. I think he's gonna.
His arm is gonna fall off in August.
Okay, but he's gonna compete with DeGrom. They're gonna make each other better. They're gonna make each other better, and we're gonna see them both get to their ceilings this season.
They're both gonna be hurt by July.
Well, and that's why you're on the Bad Takes commercial and I'm not. Anyway.
You will be on the Bad Takes commercial for believing in the New York Mets, Hannah.
All right,
Do
guys,
not worry.
Finally, rapid fire. We are really running out of time here. Hitters, my number one hitter is Ronald Acuna Jr. Once he's healthy, he's going to come back strong. Alex, you next.
People sleep on Mike Trout. I get it. He played 36 games, but this is the greatest baseball player to ever live. It's Mike Trout.
Yeah, I'm with him on that.
I think the Angels sleep on Mike Trout.
The Angels pitching sleeps on Mike Trout.
Yeah.
That is for sure.
That is fact. Well, that is all the time we have to talk MLB for now. Alex, thank you so much for joining Hannah, Jo, and me today. When we come back, we'll have Ray Collado on to talk some NBA with us.
It keeps coming back. We're going to need to go away.
Welcome to the HTF Hot Wigs Challenge. One of you guys actually do hot sauce like regularly?
No.
No.
It's like the least black thing I do.
Oh, wow, okay.
I say Johnny goes first on this one.
I agree.
No, the Buccaneers are going to play the Washington football team.
That can't happen.
It will happen.
I'm terrified.
No, I really hate it.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. No. You're wrong. If it wasn't for Kanye jumping up on stage and doing the I'm gonna let you finish, but no one would know what those were.
Nitro's dump truck. And if you don't know what I'm talking about,
Why is Nitro thick?
I don't know how many squats I need to do to get up like something like that, but I will do it.
Oh! Oh my God!
Baseball, obvious reasons. Babe Ruth, if you want to go currently. I feel like that's just like a thing.
he jumped off the wall to catch the home run. We made it through all the way to the end. Thank you for joining us.
I'm never doing this again.
It was rough.
And we're back. Well, with what happened Sunday night, the Celtics are now #1 in the East, but Kayla's a Heat fan, so we got to talk about the Heat along with the Celtics and other top teams like the 76ers, the Grizzlies, and of course, the Suns. Today, we're joined by a newbie here at HGFN. His name is Ray Collado. Ray, answer me 2 questions here. First, how are you? Second, who is your NBA team?
I'm doing good. I'm happy to be here. And unfortunately, I'm a Knicks fan, so that's all I'll say on that subject.
That's okay. We've got a lot of those in here, I feel
Really?
like.
Yeah, join Alex on that one, but they
New
did
York.
beat the Heat, so I really can't talk today.
Ooh.
We're glad to have you on right now. I know I'm a Heat fan, so I do want to talk about them first. Ray, how has this team performed this season compared to how you thought they were going to do at the beginning?
At first, I thought they were going to be doing really great, but they've been real inconsistent recently. They dropped the last 4 of their games, and I'm feeling like Jimmy Butler really needs to galvanize his team to make a playoff push, but I don't see them doing any better than what they're doing right now.
Yeah, and as a Heat fan, it is a little concerning to see them losing their last 4 games, especially like I said before, one of them being to the Knicks. On top of that, there was a heated, no pun intended, a heated sideline argument between Spoelstra, Haslam, and Butler last week. One thing I loved about this team for so long is that strong dynamic, but Ray, what does this team need to do to bounce back?
To bounce back, they need to get back to their roots and figure out what they did right to make that championship run. Did it end well with them? No, but they need to figure out their nucleus again. So I'm saying Jimmy Butler needs to get back with his teammates and talk about all that argumenting. They got to stop the arguments.
They have to, yeah. Kayla, I was just going to ask you about that. How much do you think their lack of progress, has to do with their locker room culture? I mean, if you've got Jimmy Butler openly arguing with his coach on the court sideline, how does that affect a team?
I think it's everything, especially in basketball. That's a lot of, you have to have that team dynamic. There's no way around it. You have to get over it. And I know Bam talked about it like, oh, we're family, we'll get over it. And I really think they will, but it is concerning going in. We're so close to that playoff run that if they don't get it together now, they might fall short again. And I would hate to see that because they have been doing so good up until this point.
Yeah, these next few games are vital for them. So, okay, that's enough Heat talk for me, Kayla. Let's move to the team that's actually on top, the Celtics. Ray, this is a team that went from number 11, number 12 to number 1. How did they work their way up?
Jason Tatum.
Yes.
He's been playing his mind off. This dude's amazing.
His mind off.
His mind. There's no word to describe it.
Yeah.
This dude's amazing. He's finally clicking with Jason. Jason Tatum's finally clicking with Jaylen Brown. Those two have been amazing. The defense, they're the best defense in the league.
Yes.
And you know the old saying, defense wins championships.
Yes.
So the Celtics are taking the East. You heard it here first.
Yeah, they held the Timberwolves to 19 points in the second half, and they scored 72 points in the first half, which is the most in any half all season in the NBA. I feel like you said, defense wins championships, but that offense is nothing to mess with either. Kayla, what do you think about this Celtics team?
No, I definitely think that they're number 1, and they're number 1 for a reason. As a Heat fan, I'm nervous, and everyone else in the East should be a little nervous that they could take it. I don't know if you guys saw this, but on Twitter, there was a guy who got a tattoo a few weeks ago saying they were going to win, I think, the finals. Oh. And at first, you're like, that's a little bit of a bold prediction. Now you're here, and you're like, maybe not so much.
Kind of like how I think the Mets are going to do really well. It's just like that, you guys.
You know.
Wow, I'm so proud of myself for making that bold claim, because fortune favors people.
You'll see how it goes once the baseball season gets started. But yeah, no, I really think this Celtics team could stay at number 1 if they're consistent. I really think for the East as a whole, I mean, the West is pretty much decided. You got the Suns, you got the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
But for the East, it's about consistency, and if the teams can remain that way, because it really could be anyone's game in those top 4, I think.
Which is what we want to see, honestly.
Yeah, well, and while the Heat are still number 1 in my heart, that's really all that matters.
Yeah, totally.
Let's talk about the 76ers. Now, they're currently ranked 4th in the Eastern Conference. Ray, how much has James Harden take credit for the Sixers being in the top 5?
I don't think he can take too much credit. The Sixers go where Joel Embiid takes them. So he's only averaging about 23 points. I expected more, but then again, you got to give him time to mesh well. But I don't think he should take all the credit. It all goes to Joel Embiid.
What do you think about their dynamic? I know that was a concern when Harden went into the team because he's had some struggles in teams past.
Yeah.
How do you think they've kind of overcome that?
Yeah, this is the first time Joel Embiid has played with a talent like James Harden, and they meshed a lot better than I initially thought they were going to be. I thought they was going to be a train wreck, honestly, when they traded for him. But I've been pleasantly surprised with how they've been playing well.
Listen, they're playing well, and Embiid and Harden are good, but I do think the honeymoon phase is over there in Philadelphia. I don't think they're championship contenders, honestly. It's just not their season. They don't have a lot of good skill players besides Tyrese Maxey, and so I just don't think that they'll be able to get it done. I mean, of course, Joel Embiid is big, and James Harden is James Harden, but he's also big in the other way. Anyway, but Kayla, do you think that they can really make their way all the way to the top?
Like you said, I think they are missing some other factors that would make them go above the Heat and the Celtics at this point in time. Could they do it? Yeah, like I said, I think it's going to be a close race for a lot of the teams in the East, but I don't see them pushing up to that number 1 spot, but you never know.
Well, I really don't think the Sixers are missing Simmons at all. So good for them. But let's move on to one of my favorite teams to watch this season, the Memphis Grizzlies. They rank 2nd in the Western Conference and, of course, have the ever-electric Ja Morant. But he's been out with some injuries lately. However, that has not deterred this Grizzlies team. They've really shown their depth in these games without Morant. So, Ray, how has this Grizzlies team made up for Ja's absence?
They've been fantastic. They're like 16-2 without him. I honestly thought they were going to fall apart without Ja, but they've been amazing without him, and it shows the Grizzlies don't need Ja Morant to be a great contender.
Honestly, and I know that Desmond Bane is young. He did say in an interview that this is the most together team he's ever played on in his entire life. Honestly, Kayla, I think that's a testament to Ja's leadership because I feel like a good leader has the operation fully operational while he's gone. I feel like he trains them up to be okay without him, and that's what they've done. I mean, they've really shown their depth, their ability without the electric Ja Morant. So how do you feel like his leadership has affected them?
I think it shows that he is the star of the team, but the team as a whole works.
Yes.
And I mean, at the end of the, I mean, that could win it for them at that alone. So I really think, like you said, his leadership, I really think it proves that working as a team instead of maybe having like your 1 or 2 LeBrons on the team kind of takes over just having those key pieces.
Completely. Yeah.
Well,
go ahead.
Now, before we talk about the MVP conversation, let's talk about the best team in the league, the Phoenix Suns. They're number 1 in the Western Conference, and it's really not close. They're up 9 games on Memphis. Ray, what specific things do you think separate this team from the rest of the league?
Is that they have a complete team. Devin Booker, Chris Paul, the point guard, they've been playing phenomenally together. Devin Booker's really taken the role of the scorer. He's scoring almost more than 10 points than the second leading scorer in that team. And Chris Paul has upped his assist to 10 assists per game now, which really shows in Devin Booker's scoring.
Yeah, Devin Booker has always been a star, I think, but Doc Rivers called it a supporting cast that he finally has alongside him to make him look good, to keep the ball in his hands, reduce the turnover rate. I think that the combo of him and Chris Paul have really been unstoppable.
And Ray, do you think, last season they lost to the Bucks in the finals, do you think there was doubt going into this season that they could do it again?
For me, I thought that was CP's last chance to ever win a title. I thought after that, he was going to be one of those greats without a ring. But now, I'm seeing the Suns coming out of the West.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's no reason not to.
No, exactly. It's just like, okay, so now I want to transition into the MVP conversation. And I'm trying to say this in a way where I'm not giving away what I think. But I just feel like the Suns have been slept on. They were slept on for All-Star. And they're now being slept on for MVP because they have Devin Booker, and he's not really even in the realm. We've got Joel Embiid, we've got Giannis, we've got Jokic, and those are really the only 3 that people are for sure talking about.
All deserving, but
But this is the best team in the league. And to me, and I want to ask you about this, Ray, the philosophy behind MVP should be, in my perspective, and please tell me if you disagree, that it should be the leading scorer on the best team. So, Devin Booker. What do you think, Ray?
I gotta say I disagree with you on that one.
Okay.
For me, MVP is who's most valuable to their team. Can this team function without them? And this is why, for me, personally, John Morant's out of the MVP conversation. Yes, he's a good leader, but the fact that the Grizzlies are 16-2 without him shows that, for me, personally, he's not the MVP because of that.
That's fair. That's fair.
I think for me it's Devin Booker clearly. I mean, I think last season he was great, and for him to get better is phenomenal. I mean, he's really carried that team even with Chris Paul's absences due to injuries. I think he's kind of filled a role on that team, and he's proven that he alone could take that team there. And I think, obviously everything else is working, but I really think that he should be talked about for MVP. Yeah, Giannis, Embiid, they all deserve it,
Of course.
But I don't think that we should rule Devin Booker out so quickly.
Well, and Ray, do you think that Jason Tatum has any place in this conversation?
That's a good question. Yes and no, but I don't think he deserves MVP, but he definitely deserves to be brought up because the Celtics wouldn't be doing this good without him.
Definitely. Well, we have to move on from this conversation, unfortunately, and go to our favorite segment, Woman of the Week. And for this week, I had the opportunity of choosing a Woman in Sports of the Week. And though she's leaving us to coach in Georgia, I had to give her my appreciation. Katie Abrahamson Henderson, or Coach Abe, as some call her, was the head coach of our women's basketball team this year. The team that ranked number 7 going into the March Madness tournament and had an overall record of 26-4. She spent 6 seasons coaching at UCF and really elevated our program. She used her skill, strength, and leadership to make other strong programs, like UConn, take us seriously. And not just other strong programs, but our whole school. It's becoming less and less of a woke thing and more of a normal thing to actually like and follow women's college basketball. And women like Coach Abe have had a big part in that. She took our program from 5 straight losing seasons to 2 appearances in the NCAA tournament in a row. And I know they're expecting her to show up big at Georgia, where she actually used to play when she was in college for a little bit. From what she's shown the UCF community these past 6 seasons, she is more than capable to do anything she puts her mind to. I know our Knights will miss her, and of course, our Knight Nation will miss her, but we're all better because we got to spend so much time with her in our community. Kayla, what did you think about Coach Abe this season?
I thought she was phenomenal. Again, I love what you said about, I feel like women's college basketball is finally being put on the map, and I feel like women's college sports in general are being put on the map. We have a great softball team as well, and I think, going back to Coach Abe, I think she really took this team far this season, obviously, and she really showed what it is to be a powerful woman, and I can't wait to see her success in Georgia. She's been a great asset to us, and we will miss her deeply.
Absolutely. We wish her all the best.
Yes.
That's all the time we've got for our show today. Please be sure to join us next week, where we'll have time to talk about the unavoidable March Madness. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great week.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back, okay? Always locked in, I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the